Welcome to SuperCharge, your YouTube channel with the social media superchargers. I'm Lynn O'Connell, and I'm here with Carly Alyssa Thorne to take you through the new powers that YouTube has given you to brand and personalize your own YouTube channel. It's called One Channel, and if you haven't switched to it yet, you can find out all about it at YouTube. What we're going to talk about today is how this gives you the opportunity to really add sizzle to your YouTube page. There are a gazillion websites out there where you can find step-by-step how to do each of these things. That's not what superchargers are about. We're here to talk about what to put on that page to really sell yourself, sell your message, sell what you're all about. So let's start with what these new options are. You now can add a header graphic, and we'll talk more about the specifics of that in a minute. But there's some cool things. Right off the top, you can now add 4 clickable links to your other sites, whether that's websites or your social media. Obviously, you want to pick the 4 that are your best options. You also, and you can see in this example, someone named their link "Buy Our T-shirt." So you don't have to make it just Lynn's website. You could make that actually into a call to action, which is a powerful option for you. And the key thing is that it's complicated, but YouTube has given you the tools you need to present your brand your way. So from the graphics down to, there's a teaser video now that introduces you to non-subscribers. That's important to remember, that it's non-subscribers. People will only see this if they have not subscribed. Afterwards, your people who go to your channel every day, they don't see it. They see your normal, whatever your new video is or whatever. So you now have an opportunity to create a teaser video, which we'll talk about in a minute. And you can see in this example here, they've used their opportunity to encourage people to subscribe. And that's an important thing to think about. What do you want people to do after they watch that video? Some other cool new features: you can have a choice of layouts. There's a blogger layout that gives you a sort of horizontal flow. There's a shelf approach now, which allows you to sort your videos your way. You can select channels to feature, which is especially useful for those of you who have multiple channels, or for those of you who perhaps have content that is featured on other people's channels as well, and you want to give them that call out. But here's the critical thing. Whatever you do, you want to make sure that your graphics show your brand's personality. People have very short attention spans. They're not spending a lot of time deciding who to subscribe to. They go to your page, you've got 3 to 4 seconds. And you want to use that 3 to 4 seconds to show clearly, in an instant, at a glance, who you are. So we picked 2 examples here. One is on the left here, you see the annoying orange, which you can tell just from his little face. He's an annoying guy. He's a well-known YouTube figure. And so his page, as you would expect, it clearly shows that it's a humor page. That example at the right, on the other hand, is from Laura in the kitchen. And this is much more professional in feeling. You get the sense, looking at this page, that she's going to show you how to make things in the kitchen. And you can see that she's used the first row of her shelves, which are all you can see in this screenshot, to actually show you some of the kinds of things you can learn how to make with her page. But all of her branding very consistently conveys a sort of warm, inviting, yet professional look, which, if that's who you are, that's what you want to convey. If that's not who you are, if you're the gamer guy or you're, Mr. Crazy, you can convey that as well. The key thing is show who you are, show your personality. Make sure it fits your videos. If what you do is how to take apart thing videos, make that what your teaser video and your page is about. Don't do some awesome, I'm the coolest, funniest guy in the world video if you actually are doing how to assemble things. So show your topics. Don't leave viewers guessing. And the next thing, YouTube gives you templates which you want to use, and we'll show them to you in just a second. But the really awesome thing here is that YouTube makes sure that your site works on mobile, tablet, desktop, and your computer. And it's very key because, as you can see in this photo, the amount of screen that is shown varies according to which of these things you're on. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see this is the YouTube template. And if you look at this little red box in the middle, that's the only part of this that's guaranteed to be seen on all the platforms. They've given you a template. It's set up to ensure your art works on mobile, tablets, desktop, and TV. That's why you see such a big screen. That's for when you're showing it on TV. And people are watching Google on TV, so make sure you're set up for that. And now, Carly, do you want to talk about this template before I move on to the next page and hand this over to you?
Yeah, the biggest thing is obviously in the red box, that's where you want your brand to be. So be really specific that in that box, it shows exactly like Lynn said, your personality, your brand, and who you are and what you do. So that's the hugest thing on this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And use their template. This is, they've done the work so that you don't have to figure this all out. Use it. Okay. Your trailer video, I'll just quickly introduce this, and then it's giving you a chance to show who you are. We've used Laura in the kitchen again here. If you're doing slick and polished videos, do a slick and polished intro video. If you're doing casual, fun Google Plus Hangouts, this is Brian Hawkins of Hot Vlog Tips, who's one of our superchargers. They do fun Hangouts with Brian and a few of his colleagues where they're talking about hot topics, including they've done some on YouTube. And you can tell just from looking at his picture right here that this is a more casual, fun, and interesting casual hangout, which is awesome. That's what you want your intro video to do, is show who you are, give people a sense of what to expect. And then one last thought before I turn to Carly is that if you want subscribers, you want comments, you want people to join your Hangouts, whatever it is you want, you need to ask for it. This is your opportunity. So Carly, thoughts on these trailer videos?
The biggest thing on the trailer videos is you really want to make them short, pithy, and sweet. So 30 to 60 seconds maximum. Because the longer, it's just not going to work. People aren't going to watch. Trailers are meant to be small and, not small, but short in length. I don't mean, because you do want the trailers to be impactful. You want them to have some sort of big impact that people can walk away with, and they're going to want to know more.
Absolutely. And the example we use on this page is a site called Loud. So they're making an impact. We're Loud. And what they did with their cover trailer was they did this kind of text treatment throughout it, very fast moving, very, lots of cuts, showing you what they're going to show, including, as you can see here, big celebrities. And they did that. This goes a little over 60 seconds. Theirs is 77, I think. But really, 30 to 60 seconds is plenty of time. The average ad you see on TV is 30 seconds. You can do a lot in 30 seconds. So give us the highlights. What do you cover? What will we see? And above all, answer this question. Why should I watch? What's in it for me? As you see here, if I'm somebody who's into big celebrities, I know this is the channel for me. If I don't care about celebrities, I know it's not the channel for me. And that's what you want. You want this to appeal to the people who are likely to like your stuff. And one last thing before we move on is do not run ads on your trailer. It's great to monetize your YouTube channel. We're all for money. Everybody should monetize if they can. But this is not the place to run someone else's ad. This is your ad. So if you've got your settings set to monetize, you just need to be sure that when you upload your trailer, you unclick for your trailer. Okay, now shelves. We've got examples here of Carly's shelves. This is one of your options for layouts. It's proving, from what I'm seeing in people's channels, to be one of the more popular options. But let me turn it over to Carly to talk about how you can use your shelves to make it easy for your viewers.
Yeah, so there's a lot of exciting things about the shelves. And one of the ones I absolutely love is that if you look at that little box where it says content, is the tag. So basically, if you look at my very first column, if so my tags are Carly A. Thorne, Carly Lissa Thorne. So all I had to do is put in Carly Lissa Thorne, and that whole front, the whole top row that you see is literally every single video that I've produced, directed. In other words, all the interviews I've done with speakers and what have you, or if I've been interviewed. It has my tag of my name. So that, I think the best feature for doing these shelves right now is the tag. Because if you use a consistent tag, all you got to do is plug in that tag, and it'll actually have that whole stream of everything that you're in. Now, I also want to get back to something she mentioned. There is if we go forward in the slide, I want to pull that one up actually. Okay, so a lot of features we're going to be talking about. This is really massively critical that most people do not know. You have to have good, see all these green dots? All these green dots are basically showing that I'm in good standing. You will not get some of these features if you're not in good standing. If you've had issues with community guidelines, you're having copyright issues coming up, you're having massive amounts of bad comments, you're being turned in for all sorts of different reasons, you will not get, you have to earn these green dots. So, for example, you may not be able to load a video up that's more than 15 minutes until you've loaded up. You've shown consistently that you've loaded up a few videos and you've gotten a lot of good feedback and you haven't been turned in for anything, then now I have the standing where I can load up videos that are over 15 minutes. Another thing is, the same thing about monetization. That is something you have to earn. You automatically, just because you open a YouTube channel doesn't mean you're going to be allowed to do that right away. So there's a lot of these good standing. The more good standings you have, the more features you get. Another huge one is, if you look by my name, it says partner verified. In order to do that, I had to verify that I own carlylissathorne.com. I have to go to my site, go to my cPanel, enter a code. They walk you through the steps on how to do it. However, because I'm a verified partner, now this is where you get to, you can superimpose links to shopping carts and to other brands, if you will. You can't upload links to shopping carts or other vendors unless you're a partner or verified. So that's another huge one. And then also, I wanted to address what she was talking about, monetization. And yes, okay, here we are. Here's our upload defaults. To make things simple, check your settings. For example, you can set it so that every single comment has to be approved ahead of time, but both of the boxes have to be set to approved. If one is approved and one is not, they'll still come in as non-approved. Where it says allow comments, I say approved, but then there's another one that actually says approved, meaning that they all have to be approved before they can be uploaded to the site. So you have to make sure both buttons are checked for approved, because one just means that yes, you allow comments. The other one means that they have to be approved. And so the monetization, there's an actual default where you can set them all to be monetized, which I don't do, because that's where you get into the trouble where you don't want something monetized and it is, and you got to go back and uncheck it. So as I upload each one, I then click monetize or not monetize. So go to the upload defaults. I also have all my tags put in ahead of time. So when I upload a video, it automatically has all my tags. Now let's say I'm interviewing a famous speaker. Now all I got to do is add the speaker's tag and the speaker's catchphrase or whatever. So there's tons of ways to make things simple by having all these things checked. You can put in an actual description. That way you already have most of your description down, and then all you got to do is add the little specific things like the speaker's web address or what have you. And actually just, go ahead.
And one thing, I was going to say, Carly, I haven't tested it myself, but what I've been hearing is that you can now add links.
Yes, you can add.
Now,
that also goes to good standings, though. You cannot add links in the description if you don't have some of those green dots checked off. So that's kind of really fascinating why they did that. I also want to, another huge, great, I'm so excited about this. If you see, there's a logo of me on the right-hand side with my butterfly, which is my brand. they've given us the opportunity now of almost watermarking, if you will. It's in a way watermarking every single one of your videos to create the consistent brand. Now, it's kind of neat because you get to choose what position you want, and it could be upper left, right, or lower left, right. And it also gives you the option of having this image show throughout the entire video, showing only at the end of the video, or let's say you have a specific benchmark or a specific timestamp you want it, you can also enter a specific timestamp, and it'll show up only then. I have it set to being at the end of every video because I already have my watermark built into all of mine, my butterfly. The other thing that's really, really key in terms of, we were talking about those good standings. It's really interesting, though, that if you don't have these good standings, that you're losing. It benefits you to do the steps to get the good green dots, because the more green go lights that you have, the more features you're going to get, and that's going to benefit you massively by having all that. And then when we get to, if you go to your where you can actually add in terms of the tablet, the tabs where it has home. They're actually almost called widgets. So you can add your widgets to be your videos. You can also get your analytics. You really want to take the time to go through the whole YouTube channel and check all the rich features that they've given us to be able to know now what's happening with every single video, who we're capturing. I mean, they've done a lot. It's really great. I love all the new features. The biggest, go ahead.
And a lot of these, I'm sorry, I was just going to say, some of these features used to only be available to their big brand partners. And so you're now getting access, assuming you meet the criteria, to analytics and data that marketers used to pay for. So this really is a powerful, powerful tool. And we're showing you sort of the highlights of what you can do, assuming again that you can always go back to YouTube, and if any one of these things you get stuck on, you can find a video that will tell you here's how to use analytics, or here's how to set your tags. And there is one thing I would add about tags while we're talking about that is, let's say when you started out you were just didn't quite have a plan, or you were just sort of randomly tagging things. Now that tags are a way that you can sort your content, you really want to make sure that you're consistently tagging and that you're tagging in a way that meets your brand goals. And going back to your shelves, you can also, some people, let's say you do how-to videos, you do reviews, and you do interviews. You could have a different shelf for each one of those, but to do it, you would have had to tag the videos accordingly. And obviously, the sooner you start tagging, the easier, because you don't want to end up having to go back and re-tag 200 videos. But, you know, if you have to, you have to. But anyway, so that's, you know, you also have the option to do your shelves by recent pros. You can also do playlists, which I've seen that some people have specific playlists.
One of my rows is playlists, and that's the thing. So the different rows, one is a playlist, one is something else. So one is my name tag, Carlissa Thorne, one is playlists. Now, and then one is the most liked, so the ones that are most played. Now, here's another thing I want, before I forget, is when we're talking about features, you can also pick your own custom thumbnail. And so I can upload a specific thumbnail for a speaker if I need to. Again, though, you need a green dot to get that feature. So you have to be a member in good standing to have the feature where you get to pick. You normally get to pick and choose between 3 thumbnails. With being in good standing, you now get to produce your own thumbnail. I also want to address the About tab, because that's super, super, super important. Up on top of if you go to your channel, there's going to be the home, videos, discussion, and about. That's basically when you just go to your channel. The About section is massively important, because that's going to tell people who you are, what you do, and now within that section, that's also where you actually add your links to the links that are not just being superimposed. These are the links that you just want to add to your About section. So you can add other links to your About section. because again, you can only superimpose 4 links when they come to your home page and they see the banner. That only has 4 links on it.
Right.
So when you do your About section, you can add other links that are hyperlinked.
And you want to go through and click on each of your tabs, because what you'll see is it'll come up showing you what's preloaded, and you'll have some options as to how to change that. You have some ability now to add descriptions on some of these, and then there's a lot of new functions under the About tab. So go through these, look one by one. If you hit any questions, again, just do a YouTube search on how to set up my custom tabs, and you'll find somebody who is telling you how to do it. I think we've covered all of these things to the left, Carly.
There's one more thing I want to address when you get to, so it says home, videos, discussions. Okay, so these discussions, that goes to approved comments or not. You can either have these there or not have these here. So another feature that most people don't realize is you have the choice whether you want people to see who you subscribe to or not. I have mine set to private. I don't necessarily need to have everyone know who I subscribe to. There may be some competitors I'm checking out. There'd be 1,000 reasons why you don't want people knowing every single subscription that you subscribe to. So make sure, again, your settings are your life. You need to check your settings, because if you do not, it will be showing every single subscription. It will be showing comments. It will be, and I actually had a famous singer who was getting bashed, and no one had bothered telling her, and it was just someone being obnoxious about checking those settings. And now here's the problem. Once they're up there, they're really hard to get off.
Right.
Once I showed her the feature on approved comments, she was ecstatic, because it's like, oh my God. I'm like, I said, you can't publish. You got to take down that video. There's nasty comments. And she literally did. She had to delete the video because she couldn't get rid of those comments, and then re-upload the video, and now she has it set to approved only. So your settings literally are your brand, if you will, because if your brand gets tarnished by some idiot putting up some idiotic comment, and then you can't get rid of the comment because you haven't set it to approved, you're going to have to go through a lot more steps. I mean, yes, there are ways to get it down. It's complicated, and it's time consuming. Why go through all that when if you just checked your settings ahead of time, you wouldn't have all these problems?
And one thing too that I wanted to point out is, we mentioned this briefly, but your videos can now use clickable overlays, assuming you've got the little green dot that gives you that permission. It used to be that you had to run a promotion and be paying in order for those clickable overlays to show. It now gives you the option where you can set it up as if you're going to run a promotion and then pause it, but the overlays will stay and show. So that is, for those of you who like to use clickable overlays, that's a good tip. So I think we're coming to the end.
One more thing on the home button, though, about settings on the feed. Okay, again, if you go back to the home setting, this little home button, if you click on it, there's also going to be something that says feed. And again, this is about, do you want every single activity of yours showing? Post to my activity feed when I add video to public playlist, comment on a video. I don't need everyone knowing every time I comment on a video, or when I subscribe to another channel, or when I like a video, add. Now, I do have the mark checked off for add video to public display, meaning I've uploaded something, therefore I've added it to a public playlist, right? So I do want people to know that, because I've uploaded something I want them to see. So the feed button, that's where all that is, under your home button. Right. And and you click on it, you'll actually see where it says browse, and you get to configure your channel, and then there's the feed button. Underneath the feed, that's when there's all those settings. You got to be really, and so remember where the next button where it has discussion, in that home button it'll also bring up discussion. There's 2 choices, display automatically or display until approved. So let's say there's discussions going on. So there's 2 sections though, remember this. Comments someone's leaving on a video is not the same as the discussion section. So you have to set, when you go into the discussion setting, that's going to be a whole nother section for approve or not approve. So I have it set to don't display until approved. So I don't want you to misconstrue that just because you set your all comments to be approved, that it's going to apply to your discussion area. It's not. Make sure you go into your discussion area and also hit don't display until approved. They're 2 separate things.
And
that's really important.
And this is, those of you who watch our videos regularly know we're always talking about settings. Part of the reason for this is that as you're moving from, and I think this is true for a lot of people, you started out using YouTube to watch cat videos or see people blow things up or whatever viral videos were happening. Now, though, that YouTube is turning into a brand channel, you need to rethink some of, things that were fun when you were just using it as a person may require more thought now that you're using it as your branded image going back to your blog or your business or your website, whatever it may be. So again, just taking that little bit of time to check your settings can save you a whole lot of trouble down the road. And again, we've focused here on content and branding. We have not tried to take you step by step through how to do this. YouTube actually does a pretty good job. They give you the template. If you don't see it, if you go to a channel that is already set to the new template, like Carly's, for example, you'll see a bar at the top of their channel that says Carly Alyssa Thorne is using the new layout. Do you want to see or learn more, something like that? Click on that, and that'll take you to a page that leads you to an overview as well as to the tools for how to do it. So YouTube itself is giving you good templates, step-by-step directions, and can't say this often enough, you're having trouble with a step, this is YouTube. Of all communities that make changes, this is the community that's going to give you how-to videos on how to do it. For SuperCharge,
yeah, our biggest premise is that Lynn and I make you aware. Every time there's a change on a platform or something going on, we're bringing to awareness what is going on. And we will point out certain things, especially about settings, because the settings are the key to, it's literally your Pandora's box of greatness or downfall. So we will actually say, hey, check this out, hey, check this out. And we will actually show you, slideshows and freeze frames of things. We're not going to take you step by step by step because there's so many changes, there's so many things going on, and that's why we created the group to teach, to bring your awareness to all these things, because then you can go explore further, because it is time consuming. I know I spend days on YouTube channel because it's not personally, I don't find it very navigationally user friendly. It's like I have to click and click, so you are going to have to spend some time and play with it until you get comfortable with the navigation and where things are. And again, because we all are either mechanically inclined, visually inclined, auditory inclined, you may have, certain people are this is going to be like a no-brainer for, and for other people it's going to be a little more challenging. And that is the great thing about YouTube. There are a ton of easy, under-minute little videos about how to fix your tab settings, how to do your branding, how to do your trailers.
Exactly. And
make use of it.
What we will do for members of the Social Media Superchargers group, we've gone through all kinds of videos and articles and whatnot in compiling this, and over the next day or so we will add that to the files section in the group so that you don't have to start from scratch, and we'll direct you to the resources you need. So as always, the main page, public page to find us is facebook.com/socialmediasuperchargers. Most of you watching this are members of the group. If you're not, this page will tell you how to become a member. So on that note, we are signing off. We actually are at the very end of our video time, so we have to sign off quickly. So this is Lynn O'Connell and Carly Alyssa Thorne from Social Media Superchargers signing off and encouraging you to get to supercharging your YouTube page.